Cat, like I could take off the denim jacket, have a black T-shirt, and put on an eye patch, and then become Snake Plissken. Oh man!
But you had to have glasses. Oh no! You have to have glasses over the patch so you could read.
Oh, that would have been a look. Welcome back to another episode of 1980s Now, a weekly examination of the importance of 1980s pop culture and its influence today. My name is Will, and joining me, as always, on this very special Halloween-themed edition of 1980s Now are my costumed friends, Kat and John. Kat, John, how are you guys? Oh my God!
Hey!
Hey guys!
Fantastic!
Boo.
As do you.
I know. So, for folks just listening at home,
yes.
We put together these costumes basically with found items, right? Stuff around our homes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Closet cosplaying, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
And Kat is...
I thought that meant something different, actually.
Oh.
No. Oh, I see. Closeted cosplayer.
I misunderstood the term.
Don't tell my friends I cosplay. I can see how one would be embarrassed about that. No, I can't. No, did you see how people show up in cosplaying? They are proud.
Oh, yes, they are. It should be. Yes.
Yeah, I guess if your friends would make fun of you, maybe you didn't want them to know.
Yeah. Do you need those friends? Not really.
No, get out. And Kat is dressed as one of her favorite characters from the Fraggles.
Yes.
Red.
I didn't find these laying around my house. The parts I did. All the parts I did. I didn't have this ready to go. I had to do a little crafting.
So did you have to knit a red Fraggle hat?
Oh my God.
There was no
surprised.
There was a lot of winding of yarn around.
Oh, the winding and the cutting to make the puff balls.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Gotcha.
And I broke out the hot glue gun too.
Okay.
Oh, that's a flashback.
Yeah.
And John is dressed as one of my favorite characters from the 1980s, Indiana Jones.
Woohoo.
Yeah. I even have a prop. Does that count? Bonus, I think.
Okay.
Show your prop.
Yeah.
Whoa!
I throw you the whip.
You had to go to great lengths to get that.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
I put that in my satchel here.
Tonight.
We'll use it later.
Yeah.
All right.
Just like John, it belongs in a museum.
Hey.
And I'm dressed as one of my favorite characters from the 1980s, Marty McFly.
Yay.
Although I'm going to tell you guys right now, Marty wears so many layers. John, maybe you're in this boat with two because you've got that jacket on. I'm probably going to take this all off within a few minutes. I'm already burning up in my small studio room here.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
I won't take my jacket off if you don't take your Marty stuff off. It's going to be a showdown.
Dude,
you got to stay in costume.
I'm happy to lose.
You got to stay in costume.
You want to put money down? I'll pay you the money. I had it on
it's just
before
bragging
we started.
rights. I will never let you live it down if you bail on the costume. Just put that out there.
I'm going to be playing a sweaty Marty McFly. Well, the other thing I'm going to have to say is I don't know that I'll be able to keep these things on the whole time. And just so you guys know, I'm actually have my real glasses on underneath. So now I'm nerdy McFly. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to read with these on. But for a few more lines, we'll say, hey, on today's show, we're going to be challenging our live audience, our Facebook live audience, to 1980s Halloween-themed trivia. We're talking about in the categories of music, TV, candy, and movies. The winner of the contest at the end is going to get a $50 e-gift card.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd like to play with us on Facebook Live at some point in the future, follow us on Facebook. You could follow The 80s Ruled. You should follow 1980s Now as well. We partner on this types of shows once a month.
Yes.
There are some delightful comments in the chat. It's a shame you're not paying attention.
Well,
oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Tell us.
Go ahead, John.
So first of all,
them.
Brad said, looks like Will rated Barry Manilow's wardrobe.
Barry, what? When have you ever seen him pull up a vest like this?
We got, so hold on.
Down, you see, yeah, Brad, I agree. When you see my underwear.
Yeah, so Timothy, don't you know Fraggles are meant to be eaten, LOL. Well, if you're a gourd, certainly. Yeah.
Well, you know.
And then Galen chimed in who said, ask me if I hate snakes. Which I do. I
hate him, Jacques. You know, that makes me think, though, it does look like, I love Kat's costume. This is just a joke. This is to make a joke. It does look like maybe she murdered a Fraggle and is wearing its skull. Or, like a bear or a wolf. It might.
Kind of like a trophy.
Do you know how many Fraggles had to die for you to have that costume? Exactly.
Many Fraggles died.
Oh, no. I just need to point out, Marcus wants to know, is Will supposed to be Simon Le Bon?
Well, Marcus, it's funny you say that. And he's calling back to an episode where I think where Durandi suggested I dress like that.
Oh,
I did look at the costume, this clothes brief. I was like, I don't know where I'm going to get that. But I have a sweat, I have an insulated vest and a denim jacket and a shirt and a. Anyway. All right. Hey, so before we get to trivia, though, we're going to be talking about 1980s news, and we're talking It's Alive, the old media format that's making a comeback. We're also going to be talking about Indy, I love you. Wake up. And fans are finicky over the final girls finale. Look, I'm just going to challenge myself to a tongue twister in addition, if I don't have a pun every week.
Oh,
do it.
Like last time, that was quite the tongue twister.
But this time I'm not, talking about Prince's Anatomy by accident.
Right.
So we're doing the Facebook Live trivia for two reasons. One, we always do trivia every month. And the other reason is it gives us a little break, I think, from, creating a whole other segment of a show.
A break from what? From being entertaining? I think we're still very entertaining.
Well, I mean, like last week we had 2 episodes. We had a bonus episode with Durandi. She opened up vintage posters.
That was amazing. I could listen to that episode over and over. I do. I love reliving it.
So trivia will be fun, but look, it gives us a break too. Why am I apologizing? Next week there'll be something else. Whatever.
Jeez.
Don't listen. I don't care. All right, whatever. Okay, there you go.
There's Will.
All right, hey, let's get caught up on 1980s news. This is where I become less. All right, maybe I'm now Nerdy Barry Manilow.
Did you say Bernie McFly? That's
Bernie McFly.
It's a new character in the continuity we created.
The 1% of the 1% McFly. I don't know. I don't do impersonations. Hey, as reported by Rolling Stone, a nearly extinct format is on an unexpected comeback tour, but who's buying it? Well, I know one person in this room is buying it. So Taylor Swift titled one of her albums 1989, but when her new record, Midnights, arrived this week, it really did feel like that year because fans were able to buy the album on LP, CD, and get your boombox ready, cassettes.
Wow.
Well, John's not convinced.
So wacky.
Go ahead. I'll withhold my comments for post.
You'll chime in eventually. We know.
For fans of the 1980s, it was one of the primary mediums that we used, to listen to our music. We had an opportunity now to create our own music, our own albums in a sense by recording what we wanted and editing it that way, create mixtapes like Kat did for me not too long ago. So it was exciting then, but since the 1980s, the sales of cassettes peaked in 1989 because they were getting pushed out by CDs, which was a much crisper and cleaner audio format and more practical. You could hold more songs on a thinner, piece of plastic. It seemed like cassettes were done, just like the 8-track, but they're coming back. Sales for, let's see, I got some statistics here. You've got some major pop artists joining indie bands in this tape renaissance. Sales jumped in the last few years from 173,000 in 2020 to 343,000 last year, according to Illuminate. And this year is on track to do at least that much.
Wow.
As far as who's buying it, apparently millennials are in the U.S. are 42% more likely to buy cassette tapes than other listeners. But there's also Gen X nostalgia at play. Pearl Jam, for instance, reissued their hit song "Alive" last year on a single. Talk about a more obscure format than a cassette.
Yeah, I never had a single.
No.
I had a single in the 90s. It was some dance song. I don't remember what it was.
Well, the cool thing about the singles were that you got that A-side, B-side thing again, like you did with singles of vinyl. You bought this song, but there was something on the flip side. Now, sometimes the reverse would be like a dance mix or something, but other times it would be, like typical B-sides on 45s, something you hadn't heard. You get to discover something new. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't buy pre-recorded cassettes a lot. I went for vinyl. I always went for vinyl because then I had like a master. And so I could put whatever I wanted, just an album.
Make your own cassettes at need, right?
Yeah. So I bought a lot of blank tapes. And so if something happened to it, then I'm like, I'll just record it again. So,
right.
According to Chris Holt of Young Ones Records in Kutztown, Pennsylvania, he says of Gen X customers that they buy things you'd never think anyone would buy. I immediately thought of John when I saw this. He writes, they're like, wow, man, Paula Abdul. You got Paula Abdul in there, John?
That's bad.
I mean, look, John threw together this Indiana Jones costume, and then he has the idol from the first film.
Well, I had the idol of the hat and had to go hunting them down, right? I will not be one to denigrate anyone for purchasing things purely on nostalgic value.
No. Yes, we know. Cat.
Yes.
Goodness.
Rolling Stone rather writes, surely to the annoyance of some diehards, special edition cassettes from the last few years can also fetch jacked up resale prices online.
Wow.
A limited edition tape version of Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia can go for $250 on eBay.
That gets right to my thoughts on this.
Okay.
Like, I understand why people want vinyl because you can arguably say that vinyl is a superior format in some ways, a warmer format than digital. Compression is not there and that sort of thing. I get that. But as much as I lived and breathed cassettes for 15 years, they're kind of garbage. I mean, they self-destruct, they get wrinkled, they get stuck in the thing, they have terrible hiss on them, and it's going to work hard to make it sound good.
Because I have here my boombox, and in it is my mixtape, the mixtape that Kat generously gave me, and I can play you a track here. You can hear the pristine audio.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure I will.
Disagree with you entirely.
Are you gonna...
Let's hear it, Marty.
Oh my gosh, Sliggly. Wow, he's got a boombox and a Walkman. He is not kidding around.
Yeah, I'm listening to two different kinds of music.
Right. So when I see these things are fetching like $200 on the aftermarket, it tells me that people aren't buying them to say, hey, I want to hear the music. They're buying them like Funko Pops. They're buying them like collectibles.
A collectible thing, sure.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Right.
Because then you have to go out and buy a player because who has it's not even like you can throw it into your computer and rip it like a CD or something.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting, John, because like you just said, you're not against anybody buying something for their passion.
Of course not.
Or nostalgia.
No, right.
But you're almost, what you're saying is you're against someone buying something for a purpose other than it's like for. Like the stuff you have, you buy a vintage video game console, the game can be played, presumably. You didn't buy it so you could use it as a doorstop. Or
that's true. That's true of me. And I don't even, I don't think people shouldn't buy it for an alternate purpose. That's fine. It's just that it jacks up the price. And it tells me that people aren't having a resurgence of cassettes because they want to play cassettes. That's a resurgence of cassettes because they're like, whoa, cassettes. They just think it's novel and clever. They're never going to use it for playing music. I bet you. I took a poll of people who bought one who's actually putting it in a cassette deck. Right?
I would love to know. Yeah, I'd love to know.
To see the comments of people.
Yeah, I wish.
On Facebook.
Is anybody out there buying cassettes?
I don't even have their comments on my screen because it's dumb, stupid thing.
Mine. Oh, Galen says his boombox took so many D batteries. Yes.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yep. Although now you could get, one I'm sure that's chargeable, or you can get rechargeable batteries. It is kind of crazy in that regard, the technology.
Galen says, still have my big country cassettes.
Yes.
And Brad says he used an abusive amount of Type 2 or Position 2 cassettes recording my crappy band on Tascam 4-track. There's a throwback.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and actually in this article, they do talk about how there's companies that are ramping up to sell cassettes, sell cassettes now because there's a new demand for it. Either the commercial market where folks can get blank tapes, but in particular, they have to make the cassette tapes so that artists can, the companies that, the reproduction houses can actually have cassettes too.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Hey, in other 1980s news, I think I got to take my glasses off again this way.
Oh, all right.
I'm going to be doing this. This is even worse.
That's a good look.
Let me take the sunglasses off.
The squint.
Let's see. Okay. As reported by the New York Times' Kyle Buchanan, Indy and Short Round reunited at Disney's D23 convention. We did talk about this before, but now we actually have this reporting from Kyle, who actually spoke to Kiwi Kwan about that, that meeting that was memorialized in those photos that we saw online. And like we talked about, although he had effectively retired from acting for decades, Kiwi Kwan did remain active in film. He did some second unit stuff. I think he did some choreography and some stuff along those lines. But he made quite a comeback in the last few years. In particular, just most recently, that Everything Everywhere All at Once film that we all are a fan of.
Yeah.
But he recently appeared at D23 to promote his addition to Marvel's Loki, that TV series.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah. I've been enjoying that show's kind of weird, but I like it, and I love him.
I was all about it. Yeah, and I love him. Yep.
But of course, also there, another story that we talked about once before was the iconic actor Harrison Ford there to promote the 5th installment of the Indiana Jones franchise. There's a lot of Indiana Jones stuff to talk about today, John.
I know. I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, according to Kwan, as he approached Ford, he was worried that his Temple of Doom co-star would not recognize him because it had been 38 years since the pair had been together. Can you imagine? Wow. I mean, I think John said this. You can't expect he was hanging out with a 13-year-old after the film wrapped.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it is crazy to think you make a movie with a guy like this who's huge, and for 40 years you watch him go on to great things, and you're just you're doing other things, but it's got to be bizarre, especially when you're a kid and feel bonded. I would think to that person.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure.
He's got to be like your on-set father of sorts, unless he's a dick. Let's face it. Then you're going to be like, screw this guy. But
right,
if he's kind, then you sort of feel attached to him.
Well, it is Harrison Ford, so you're 50-50.
Yeah. So, but as Kwan grew closer to Ford turned and pointed his finger, and what Kwan described as had his quote classic famous grumpy Harrison Ford look, end quote. So Kwan thought Ford didn't recognize him, thought he was a fan and was going to shoo him away, but instead he turns to Kwan and says, "Are you short round?"
Oh, that's so cool.
And Kwan responds, "Yes, Indy."
Yes, Indy.
Getting choked up.
I would have melted.
And then Ford said, "Come here and give me a big hug."
That's exactly how I wished the script leading up to that photo was, and it's great to find out that that's how it rolled. Right?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. It was actually these two guys organically finding one another backstage and recognizing instead of a photo op that was set up. That's great to hear. I love that.
Absolutely.
And as they embraced, Kwan said that memories came flooding back from the beginning of his career, which is now, as we mentioned, regained its initial promise. Kwan said, quote, "It was so comfortable, it was amazing, and he's an amazing man, one of the most generous men on the planet."
Aww.
And I love this. Kwan went on to talk about sort of his return to Hollywood, telling Kyle Buchanan, "How often does a man in his 50s get a chance like this? How often do actors get a second act?" He said, "I really hope that if people are reading my story, it gives them hope. It gives them courage to give voice to that dream they once had." And I thought, yeah, that's what we're doing right here on this podcast.
If I ever get to meet John in person, I wonder if it'll be like that. I'll be like, I wonder if he'll recognize me. And then he'll put on a grumpy John face.
Oh. Yeah.
And you're going to say, "Yes, Indy." You're going to say, "Red?"
Right. I'll have the costume on. Yeah. In the chat, Will, Marcus is asking, I wonder if Ford ever had anything good to say about this guy in a press junket.
You know what? He did. Actually, Marcus, he did. Wait a second. Am I thinking of a different story? Hang on. Let me search my brain here. No. I know what it was. Never mind. It was something different. I don't know. Can you find it, Marcus? If you can find it,
he can.
There'll be a video.
He may have asked because he has the link on deck and he's ready to ask.
He's ready to go.
Kablam!
And finally, in 1980s news, as reported by Movie Maker, Halloween Ends director explains the shift in the story's focus. So I think we could do this without major spoilers. But at least John and I have watched the film Halloween Ends. I don't imagine Kat's watched it yet. You don't have to, Kat. You really don't. You can be fine. You're fine.
I'm gearing myself up to watch, what is it, The Season of the Witch. I'm going to watch that.
Oh, okay.
Before Halloween, I'm going to watch that movie. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting.
The Halloween film Season of the Witch? You're ramping yourself up for that? Yeah. Really?
I am, because I saw it one time when I was a child and I was traumatized.
Oh, really?
So I'm going to try and work my way through it.
Silver Shamrock.
Exactly.
It's like when I condition myself to get used to snakes. I get it.
Exactly.
That'd be great if you just picked up right now, just handsfuls of
What if I
snakes.
had a snake here?
I wouldn't be surprised.
You would be blown away.
I don't know. You did that. You pulled that idol out of nowhere. I guess I'm desensitized now.
Just not even impressed.
So minor spoilers maybe for the third and what's supposed to be the final installment, at least of this recent requel trilogy. So the final film of the reboot from David Gordon Green has fans divided over the franchise's finale. And so the director is explaining why they made the decision they did for this. I'm avoiding things at the moment, at least. Why they went the direction they did. And again, I don't think we could have to major spoil anything.
It's tough.
Okay. The biggest criticism that the film received was that the Laurie Strode and Michael Myers characters, the main characters.
The main characters, right?
The ones that are ending in this film,
Played by Jamie Lee Curtis and James Jude Courtney, were not featured really in the film.
I'm so confused by this. Like, I don't know much about it, but they're aren't they supposed to be really
sure I saw Michael Myers at about 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
I think that's when I first saw his countenance. I won't even say his face.
So it was geared up, for us at least, right? It was built up, maybe from the marketing people, and maybe not from the director. Maybe they didn't, they're not responsible for that necessarily. But to be the final showdown between these two, ends of this spectrum, good and evil, that had boiled over 44 years. But according to the film's director, Green, who also co-wrote the film with Danny McBride, among others, the actor-comedian, he said, quote, honestly, we never once considered making a Laurie and Michael movie.
that's I read that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What?
You consider it? I wonder if people, I'm sure certainly no one wants to see a movie with those two people in it.
Right. To even dismiss
the finality. Idea. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's
consider it and dismiss it. But he says, he goes on to say the concept that it should be a final showdown type brawl never even crossed our minds. What? This is gross negligence.
We're the wrong people driving this boat.
I'm trying to liken this to another career. Like it would be like an attorney showing up in court and saying, did you ever consider pleading, not guilty?
It never crossed my mind.
No.
I'm sure you were guilty. Look at
you. Is that an option? Don't maybe rule it out as a thing. You got to consider.
I wanted to branch out in this other guilty direction.
This gets even crazier.
Were you a plumber? Did you ever think of just emptying the drain instead of like unscrewing everything and replacing it? Never crossed my mind. No. Never thought about it. Went straight to the most chaotic and stupid solution.
Instead, I started dumping more water in there, bucket after bucket. Welcome to Walmart. I don't know what that means. Instead, get this.
Steal my line.
This is crazy, even crazier. Green said that what they did do was, quote, what no one expected us would do. Make a love story. End quote. So Halloween, John said this, we talked, it doesn't make the show last week, but John had made the point that in a sense, this is kind of like Season of the Witch because it's more connected to the story because Laurie and Michael are in it and they're, without giving any spoilers away, obviously they're main part of the story in a sense, but it's more like Season of the Witch because you suddenly get new characters that are more of the focus of the story. And so you get this new character, Corey, who is wrongfully accused of murdering somebody at the very beginning of the film. This is a spoiler for the first 2 minutes of the film or something, 3 minutes. But Green said that the premise was to see the development of evil and, quote, what a community that neglects the well-being of their own can unleash on themselves, end quote. So that's kind of an interesting idea, but maybe in the context of Michael Myers?
Yeah, but could I just say, if you want to make that movie, go make that movie.
Yeah.
If you're going to make Halloween Ends, why don't you make it about the characters that have built up these 40 years and pay something off?
Yeah.
So I think the movie was like an hour 40, an hour 50.
Yeah, I think
and I feel like we got like an hour 10 of something and like a 20-minute
love story
finale for Halloween Ends. Yeah. That's how I felt.
I think you're being generous about the 20-minute part.
Maybe.
Seriously. I think I saw a stat there that had it less than that, but look,
it may have been less. I never considered it.
Yeah, we'd have to give some stuff away to get more into it. But not ironically, it's like I guess what would be expected. He may really have ended the Halloween the franchise.
He might have ended it.
He may really have killed it.
Halloween ends.
Right? How meta. He ended it, but not what he thought he was doing.
It opened in the box. It opened in the box office. No, box office. It opened in theaters. It opened in theaters and on streaming on the same day, and it's been underwhelming. The performance, it generated $41 million at the box office in the U.S.
I was wondering how it was doing.
But it's the drop off that's killing it, right?
Yeah, it dropped off and it had an 80% drop.
Oh,
and currently holds a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Maybe everyone heard that it's
well, I'm sure. Exactly. There are people going, what the?
Yeah.
And it's not even a bad movie. It's just a bad Halloween movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt. So it's, like, I was like, am I watching the right movie?
Yeah.
Am I in the right theater?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Hey, that was 1980s news. Hey, our independent podcast is brought to you every week by folks just like you. So if you'd like to help us out, please Follow us on the podcast platform you're listening to right now. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share an episode on Facebook. All of these actions just take a moment and are 100% free. But if you'd like to chuck in a buck and help us keep publishing the show week after week, please visit us at 1980snow.com/support to find out how you can send us $1 or $2. And thank you so much. It means a lot. All right, John. So far, I still have my costume on, so... What you haven't seen is I've been slowly stripping from the waist down to balance out the temperature.
Oh.
It's kind of like...
that's my secret. I don't have anything on from the waist down, so I'm super cool.
That's my secret. I'm always half naked.
That's my secret. I'm always nude.
The secret to being super cool.
This is body paint. So, look, we're going to get started on trivia here. It seems like the Facebook comments are still not working, so we can't see them here, at least through this system.
Right. And I know there's some folks here who would have already been part of the StreamYard.com/Facebook, but everybody make sure you did that.
Okay, so let's do the other thing at least. Yeah. So you see at the
lots of good
there.
comments in the chat about Halloween, by the way, if you get a chance to peek over there. A lot of agreement about that. And Galen recommended Kat watch Trick or Treat because it has a great soundtrack.
It has a great soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Trick or Treat, yeah. That's we actually talked about Trick or Treat last Halloween, Kat. Oh, it was a Patreon bonus, I think. But but we talked about how that music came to be. Yeah, that's a curious movie, too.
I will put that on my list.
Yeah, that one's got, Skippy from Family Ties is in there. Mark Price? Mark Price, who's a comedian now and travels around doing comedy. And maybe he was a comedian then, too. Huh? So the StreamYard part where we can see your comments through this software is not working. The company said they're working on it. Whatever. So we use a different app for the trivia, which may be working fine. There's no reason to think, unless it's a Facebook issue that's affecting their communication with every application that's a third party to them. But let's do a round and let's see. Your answers are either going to pop up and you're going to be on the scoreboard or you're not. Right?
Maybe.
All right, so let's see if we can.
Fingers crossed.
Now let's see if we get that software to work. Let me take my sunglasses off again.
Hey, Brad's going as George Sumter for Halloween. Going to call BS at all my neighbors.
One of my co-hosts on Gen X Grown Up Brad is going
all right, here.
Nice deep cut,
Here's
Brad.
The first question.
Well done.
For which Stephen King movie did Ramones record the title song? 1, Pet Sematary. 2, Maximo Overdrive. 3, Creepshow. Or 4, Christine. Just put 1, 2, 3, or 4. You don't have to put the whole thing in there. Do you guys know the answer to this?
I have an idea.
I have a guess. Steve? I think I know
I see answers flowing in the chat and Facebook, so we may be okay. We'll see. We'll see if we get results.
Stephen King actually...
Brad, just put the number. Don't
It's computing something. It's computing something. Come on, buddy. Come on.
It's trying.
You can do it. That's not hopeful.
Oh,
it's got nobody there.
Oh, no.
It gave the answer, but it's not giving us...
All right, guys. It's not working. Yeah, it's Facebook. Facebook's having a problem.
It's
All right, let's think on our feet here. What should we do here? Should we just go through this?
We could go old school. We could just go through the comments later and
figure out a winner.
Continue to have the fun. All right, we have questions.
We got questions. You put in answers. We'll randomly pick somebody to be the winner at the end of the thing.
Okay, yeah, we'll do like
there we go. Yeah. We can still have fun.
Who provided backup vocals?
Technology be damned.
Who provided backup vocals on Rockwell's "Somebody's Watching Me"? Was it 1, Paula Abdul?
I know this one.
2, Michael Jackson. 3, Madonna. Or 4, El DeBarge?
Yeah. See questions. I see answers streaming in.
We talked about this on a previous episode.
We did. And we talked to, what I meant to tell you guys was that we talked to Jim Babjack of the Smithereens a couple of weeks ago, and he told us, I don't know if we talked about this. No, we talked about the story about how they nearly had a song in Say Anything. They wrote it. It's a Girl Like You was written for that film, and then Cameron Crowe said it gives away the film. Michael Jackson's the correct answer.
A bunch of correct answers in the chat. Bunch of corrects.
Oh,
what I didn't share with you guys was that Madonna was supposed to be a backup singer on A Girl Like You.
Really?
She was already successful at that time, but Smithereens and Madonna shared a manager, and so that was supposed to come together, and for some reason it ultimately didn't. But see if I can read the questions with these glasses on. Yeah, I think I can.
Yeah.
These are
you might as well look cool while you're doing it.
These are also making
Even if you can't, you look cool.
Hey, who wrote the title song for 1985's Fright Night?
Oh.
Jay Giles Band, Loverboy, Eddie Money, or 38 Special?
This could be another lawyer question. Who wrote?
Oh, for crying out loud. Who wrote and performed? Wrote probably is right. Who sung it?
Just saying.
All right, I'll tell you right now. Sure. It wasn't like one of these guys wrote it and the other one sang it.
Okay. All right.
Who recorded
Will's
it?
been known to try to trick us.
And then I didn't try to trick you on that one either. That was a legitimate question. I just rewatched Fright Night recently.
I'd have to guess. Did you?
A mix of answers. Wow.
Now this
one is not definitive in the chat like the other one.
This song was actually the last single from this band, the Jay Giles Band. And some folks believe that it's the single that sunk the band. The band essentially disbanded after that. In fact, I think by the time the record came out, the band wasn't actually together anymore.
They still accepted payment. They just weren't band anymore.
Now, hopefully it went through, yeah. Hey, which artist recorded a song for A Nightmare on Elm Street for the Dream Master? Houdini, the Fat Boys, Run DMC, or in tiny letters, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. So
I'm getting
one
an
of these
answer.
rap groups.
Okay.
One of these rap groups. What is he?
I know the answer to this.
I do too.
One of these rap groups
I know.
recorded a song for the Dream Master.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll ask Kat after the timer runs out here.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I learned it from you.
Mm-hmm.
I learned it from watching you. All right, what do you think, Kat?
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, right?
So here's the deal. Here's why you think it, because the Fresh Prince has a song, A Nightmare on My Street.
Yeah.
Which
that's
they
what I was
did record
thinking
for the
of.
film, but the producers rejected it and instead went with the Fat Boys.
Oh my gosh.
Now, ultimately, they got sued by the producers of Nightmare on Elm Street because Fresh Prince released the record anyway.
Yes.
And so in subsequent recordings, they had to put a sticker on there that said that it wasn't in any way affiliated with the film. And the music video they did for it, they had to destroy.
Yes. So I'm remembering all of that and not the correct answer.
Final music question. Which villain is the subject of He's Back, Man Behind the Mask? Is it the Miner, Michael Myers, Leatherface, or Jason? This is an Alice Cooper song that he wrote for one of the horror movie featuring one of these iconic.
Oh, that's a song. I didn't even know it was a song. He's Back, Mine Behind. That was just a string. It's a string of words.
Yeah, this is the music.
Okay.
This is the music category still.
Got it. Okay.
I have two guesses for this.
Guess away. Jason or Mike Myers?
Yeah, you have two guesses.
Yeah.
I would guess Jason, I think. That's who my guess would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's the only one that has a mask he is behind. The other ones kind of have a mask that's on their head.
Huh.
It's kind of a hockey mask. I'm just
like under the mask.
Interesting.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Because he's behind it, whereas like, you know what I'm saying. Michael Myers, it's on top of him. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, that was my powers of deduction.
It's a technicality.
I had no actual knowledge. That was just deduction.
Yeah. That was good deduction, Indy. All right, so the next category here is TV.
All right.
Tim Curry sings in this 1986 HBO special set at an academy for witches.
Oh.
Witches Night Out, The Worst Witch, The Witches of Eastwick, Eastwick, or Teen Witch.
So which witch are we looking for?
Yes, which is which.
Oh, man.
Gotcha.
And this Tim Curry singing on it has been going around the internet for a while now, even months earlier before Halloween, just as sort of this neat little novelty of everyone loves Tim Curry. He can do anything.
Yes.
But this particular moment in this film is...
Yeah, I don't even have a guess.
Stands out.
I have a 75% chance of looking stupid, so I don't even have a guess.
Okay. You can guess if you want now.
No one can, but I don't remember what it's
No one's
called.
answers are being tabulated, so it doesn't...
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah,
It's The Worst Witch.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it?
Which, if you see The Worst Witch, or you see they did a series, I think it was on Netflix recently, The Worst Witch, a couple of years ago. It was a series based on the books of the same name. J.K. Rowling straight up ripped off this book series, which came out a decade before. I mean, just so many similarities.
Wow.
But,
it was good. I only saw 3 correct answers flow by in that one. That was a stumper.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a mix of difficult and easy questions on trivia night. If you get one wrong, hang on there. You probably get the next one right.
Yeah.
Halloween night sees Michael Knight visit the iconic home from this movie. The Entity, Psycho, Poltergeist, or Amityville Horror. 1, 2, 3, or 4. In the episode of Knight Rider, it stands in as the home of one of the, I think, suspects of the crime there he's investigating.
I have a guess. I don't remember the episode, but if I was writing the episode, I have a guess.
Yeah.
I don't remember this episode.
Is it based on where they filmed Knight Rider? Probably.
No, I'm going to guess Psycho, just because it's the most iconic house and it had been around long enough in the 80s when Knight Rider was filmed. That maybe like Poltergeist and Amityville might be a little too fresh. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, it was very well established.
See, it's all deduction. It has no knowledge whatsoever.
So yeah, and I think in part is, and this is a memory from when I was a kid. I was like 13 years old or 14. We went to Universal Studios in Anaheim, California, and on the Universal Studios lot, in addition to having Knight Rider cars and stuff, and they filmed shows there. I think that's where they have the fake town where they filmed like Back to the Future was there, all this kind of stuff. The Psycho House. They have the Psycho House there on a hill. It's like one of the things you drive by on the tour.
Wow.
I think that's why they were able to use it. It's just
it was easily accessible, right? It was right there.
Okay.
There we go.
This is another TV Halloween question. Reportedly, copies of the Boogeyman episode of this show, starring Scott Bakula, are cursed. 1, Quantum Leap. 2, Misfits of Science. 3, MacGyver. Or 4, Hill Street Blues.
I think I know the answer to this one.
Okay.
Told you, it's a mix of difficulties.
Yeah.
Don't second guess yourself. Yeah, supposedly if you had a copy of this on VHS or whatever, at some point you're playing it, it just stops working. It just breaks, goes staticky. This is one of those urban
Not
legends.
because VHS is a crappy format. It just is cursed.
John, I'd like to challenge what your notions of cassette tapes are. Let me introduce you to this high-tech.
That's pretty. It's cute that you think that's a big
brand.
boombox.
That's one of those Bluetooth ones. That
Is it?
sounds
Okay.
terrible.
It's a modern one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't even, that was weird. I don't know what it's doing. I'm not even pressing anything.
Oop.
We're going to see the question again.
It's cursed.
Is it really?
Oh my God, it's cursed. It happened again.
Oh yeah. Now I'm getting errors on the trivia software.
Oh. This is
was it
very
Quantum Leap?
spooky
So funny.
trivia.
Oh my
Spooky.
God, that is so funny.
Everybody guessed Quantum Leap. Everybody
I
guessed
was going
Quantum
to say
Leap.
Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
I just didn't know Bakula was in
This
anything
is-
else, but maybe it was.
This is hilarious.
That's what I was curious about. Yeah, if he was.
And there's no way for me to force it to the next thing either.
Well, Nick, it's coming in 6 seconds.
This is
Give it,
haunted
Oh, it is?
trivia.
Yeah, this 3, 2, 1. It's coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It went back. It got restarted.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
let's see what
cool.
happens. And we're back to question 1.
Haunted trivia.
There we go. See?
Trick or Chomp is the Halloween episode for this video game character turned cartoon. Is it 1, Cubert, 2, Pac-Man, 3, Frogger, or 4, Donkey Kong?
I have a guess.
I'm certain.
So who chomps? Yeah, who's chomping on this one here?
I'm seeing lots of answers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's Pac-Man. I look,
just makes me think of
almost
Pac-Man. Yep.
every episode of the Pac-Man cartoon had Chomp in the title somewhere.
That's awesome.
Just like every episode of the Cubert cartoon had the letter Q in there somewhere. They just kind of forced it for fun. So.
Ooh.
Yeah, and every episode of
nice.
Pac-Man, he wound up chasing the ghosts at the end.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, he did. It's
Spoiler.
right. And this episode in particular, too, there was actually a two episodes they put together to make into a Halloween special that both sort of ultimately have him chasing the ghosts, but they play nicely into this theme of Halloween because there's ghosts. In the first part of this episode, it's Pac-Man goes up against Pacula.
Yep.
Is the big bad.
Now I have a wonderful.
Hold your tail for one moment here.
To your question.
In his 1985 Halloween adventure, Garfield trick or treats with this dog companion. Is it 1, Snoopy, 2, Poochie, 3, Odie, or 4, Clifford?
Mm-hmm.
Is this a trick question?
Yeah, I think maybe so.
It might be a lawyered up question or
Might
whatever.
be one of those lawyerly ones.
I was just going to say
Jim?
anecdotally that I also have a great 33 1/3 vinyl LP all about Pac-Man in a haunted house. There's another kids stuff records. It's awesome. There's a lot of good Halloween stuff with Pac-Man out there. Yeah.
That's neat. Yeah, I know you get those records. Those are pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, Kat, I'm guessing Odie, unless it's some weird crossover. I guess.
Odie's his dog companion.
Yeah, I mean, because, yeah, exactly.
But
that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe there's a Poochie that we don't know about.
The answer is Marmaduke.
The answer is Marmaduke.
Yeah, it is Odie.
There we go.
But Poochie apparently is some 1980s cartoon / toy that I had forgotten about. I don't know if it was popular here.
Isn't Poochie the dog from The Simpsons?
No, the dog from The Simpsons is...
No, it's Itchy and Scratchy. No, Poochie, there was like a costumed character on The Simpsons, I think.
Oh, okay, not Santa.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember
Maybe somebody
Poochie.
knows.
But it was a 1980s thing as well.
Yep.
All right. Hey, next up, the category is candy. These are all questions related to 1980s and candy.
All right.
Created in 1985, this taffy candy comes in 16 different flavors. Is it Mary Jane, Laffy Taffy, Bonkers, or Airheads?
Okay.
I got to admit, if you asked me, like if you gave me the name of if you gave me the answer to this question and said, what kind of candy is it? I would never have guessed it was a taffy candy. So I guess that rules out Laffy Taffy.
Yeah. I think at least one of them is not a taffy because I think I know what it is, unless I.
Right.
I mean, of these, I've only had 2 of them that I know of. So.
All right. What do you think it is?
Yeah, I don't think Bonkers is taffy myself. So either Mary Jane or Airheads is my guess. I don't know what either one are. That's why.
And Mary Jane is that candy that our neighbor used to give us a bag full of, and it was the worst stuff.
It's like you have to see the dentist that week.
Marijuana is bad. Okay.
Yeah, the answer is Airheads.
Marcus said green apple is the best flavor, FYI. Good to know.
Oh.
Good to know.
With Airheads.
Yep.
Yeah, it really does
Marcus.
come in quite an assortment of flavors. If you look online, it's just a...
You fooled them.
And now they have sour ones, and they sell little ones. And
that was a stumper, but a lot of people guessed Laffy Taffy despite your little clue. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Marcus says Airheads isn't taffy.
Marcus, find a video. I don't know. Hey, introduced in 1980, this candy bills itself as the Hall of Fame bubblegum.
Got it.
Is it
Really?
Let me check.
Fruit stripe gum,
Okay.
Bubblicious, or Big League Chew?
The Hall of Fame?
Got it.
The Hall of Fame bubble gum.
I didn't even multiple choice for this one. I actually knew this one.
Were you guys into bubble gums? I like the good bubble gum.
I loved either Hubba Bubba or Bubblicious, or even just Bazooka. I was even a Bazooka fan.
Yeah, those were like rocks. But yeah,
Fruit Stripe was also wonderful.
Love Fruit Stripe. Just didn't last long.
Yeah.
I got to go with Big League.
No, exactly.
Big League
It
was
was-
my instant, what popped in my head before I saw the answers. So.
Well, the Hall of
It
Fame
just makes
thing
sense.
kind of makes
It's
me
baseball themed.
connects to the Big League.
Yeah, Big League Chew, that gum that was designed to imitate the what do they call that? The chewing tobacco that the baseball players were using, just sort of out and open there during games in the 1980s.
Even comes in the foil
Brad
pouch.
thinks it was advertised on the package.
Yep.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. He launched in 1983. This candy usually contains 2 flavors per box in separate compartments.
Got it.
Is it Pop Rocks, Nerds, Mike and Ike's, or Candy Buttons? Now, Kat, you'll remember we talked to Adam Richman about this.
Yes.
And he had mentioned this because one of his episodes he did about, what was it though? I remember the show was called Adam's Eating something.
Yeah, Adam eats the 80s.
Eats the 80s, yeah. He went to this factory and they talked about, I believe, the origins of that candy, right?
Yep.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes. Nerds.
Yeah, I've only ever seen Nerds as any of those that come in 2 flavors in one box.
That's right.
Oh, yay.
It's Nerds. Nerds. The voice actor for Lion-O in the Thundercats also invited us to taste the rainbow in this candy's ads. Wow. Is it Spree, Skittles, Razzles, or M&M's?
I think I know this.
So Larry Kenny, the guy who did Lion-O in the 1980s, also one of his many commercials he did was for this product.
Outside of Laffy Taffy, the candy category has been pretty breezy.
Well, what is it? Roar. Roar, John. Roar.
Had to be Skittles.
Roar.
Roar? R-A-W-R?
Roar.
I just bought a giant container of Skittles
Taste the rainbow.
at BJ's last night. Giant container for my classroom that I'm in.
Wait a second. Do I have a candy? I think I have a question twice on this thing.
It's all right. Repetition isn't a bad thing.
Maybe
I'll of the questions is different than the questions on the screen.
Maybe I'll get it right the second time around. Technology got him.
I think it's sentient.
Technology.
It's cursed. It's the Boogeyman episode.
The Boogeyman is taking over everything. I honestly don't know what the next question is going to be. Let's find out together.
It's exciting.
Oh, here we go. In October 1984, the monster with 21 faces terrorized this country after poisoning confections. So in the Halloween season of 1984, was it United States, Russia, Japan, or India?
We?
Checkers balls.
Check a ball.
I'm not even commenting.
If you know, you know.
You know, I got to tell you, I've been looking everywhere for chocolate balls. I haven't been able to find them yet.
No.
And those panda things you talked about, John?
Yeah, delicious.
I found something that, I'm not sure what are they called?
I'd have to look. I don't know.
Okay. Because I found something some kind of panda chocolate thing in in this place that has international candies and treats.
I'll send you a
I
link.
wasn't sure if it was the same one. The answer is Japan.
Yeah.
We did a true crime episode that told the story of the monster who terrorized this country for a couple of years and never was caught.
Right.
All right. So, hey, the next category, I believe, is, because I don't know how they got reordered. That's so bizarre, is film. So we're going to talk about horror movies from the 1980s, the next 5 questions, and then we're going to call it a night. And I don't know, we'll have to randomly pick somebody somehow, maybe offline.
Sounds good. Yep.
We're going to do that.
Yeah. You use your thing.
We do have a thing we could dump everybody's name into this thing
Yes.
randomly. We just use it for the Ralph Macchio book. Hey, who is the murderer in the first Friday the 13th?
I love this
Is
question.
it Jason's mom? Jason's mom, dude. Is it Jason? Is it Crazy? That's something missing from there. Crazy or Alice?
Is it crazy?
Crazy is the guy who, what's his name? It's Crazy something. He warns them not to go to the camp.
Oh.
I thought you meant Crazy station. Eddie. Prices are insane.
Yeah, Crazy Eddie. Like Evil Ed. Crazy. What the heck is the guy's name? It's the guy who warns them at the gas station not to go to the camp.
Yeah. But we know it's Mrs. Voorhees, right?
Is she married? Is she spoken for, John? I don't know who married.
She has a son. Are you alleging that Jason was born out of wedlock?
Am I alleging Jason, the murderous monster, is a bastard? A bastard child? I think Freddy was a bastard child, right? They talked the bastard of 21 criminals or whatever. Anyway, Jason's mom, Mrs. Voorhees, is the murderer in Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And originally, there was some discussion among the creators of this film that whether Jason should even come back. The thought was, well, no, he wasn't the murderer, so why would he come back? And of course, they changed the story in such a way that he can just keep coming back forever. Yep. What item did Nancy pull out of her dream in A Nightmare on Elm Street? Was it a telephone, a teddy bear, Freddy's hat, or Freddy's glove?
Wow.
Telephone, teddy bear, Freddy's hat, Freddy's glove.
I just have a flash of something, but I don't have a solid answer. I have a guess. Yeah, I'm not certain.
Yeah, I have a guess.
Yeah, I think it's a sort of a pivotal moment in the story where she starts to get a handle of or a better understanding of how these dreams
works. Yep. See some guesses coming in. See lots of them.
No thoughts?
I want to see what Marcus puts. I'm going to follow.
Just do whatever he said.
What's your answer, Marcus?
I thought it was the hat.
Guesses? Like one of his items. So I'm going to go. Well, no, maybe glove.
He wouldn't take his glove.
John, I just realized you might be able to do a Freddy Krueger with that hat, that Indiana Jones hat. Just, get the right sweater.
Certainly.
Just beat it up a little more, right?
So yeah, Freddy's hat.
Yep. And
it's at this moment she realizes, she's sort of testing out am I going to defeat this guy? And she realizes she can pull him into the real world.
Right where you want him, in the real world.
And then, right, exactly. And then, of course, the end of the movie makes it seem like maybe the whole thing was a dream, or wasn't, or it is, or we're still dreaming. Who knows? Drew Barrymore made her movie debut in which 80s horror film? Was it Sleepaway Camp, Silver Bullet, Firestarter, or Altered States?
I think I know the answer to this one.
Well, I know
there's varying levels of difficulties to these questions.
I know one she was in, but I don't think that was her film debut. So that's my...
Oh, then...
Wait, Kat hadn't even considered that. What was it?
I have a guess. I have a guess. So can I guess now? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, sure.
Yes.
I mean, Firestarter is obvious, but I think it's Silver Bullet. I have a weird, vague memory. That's just a guess. Yeah. Just like Freddy's hat.
I'll just ride along on your weird, vague memory.
No, pick something else. We cover the spread.
Like a tailwind.
Really?
Wow. Oh, that wasn't even right.
It's Altered States.
Dang.
So, and I believe, I'm going to say Firestarter. Well, Firestarter came out before Silver Bullet.
Okay.
Sleepaway Camp and Altered States were both at the beginning of the 1980s. Silver Bullet was later in the 1980s. Firestarter was towards the earlier 1980s. I think it was, she did E.T. Well, it was like Altered States was, I think, 80 or 81. E.T. is 82. And Firestarter, I think, is 84.
But she was really young in Altered States, right? Because she was pretty young. And
she played a fetus. What does Carol Ann warn when she senses ghosts in Poltergeist? They're mad. They're here. They're evil. They're back.
I know.
Nice performance on the answers, though. Well done.
Yeah,
that was lovely.
And the fact that I did them all identically like that, I don't remember the correct answer yet.
No,
I guess you do.
Muddled yourself.
Quit acting.
They're over there. They're close by. Here's more alternatives to consider.
Thank you. You can't vote for them, but they're out there.
They're late.
Yeah. I think everybody knows it's their back, don't they? No, everyone does not.
Now I'm second guessing myself though after listening to Will say them all. Like,
it's they're here. It's they're here. Oh shit!
That's right. I'm gonna go.
You
with
did wreck it for me. You did it so well.
You already have your answers.
No, you're right.
Locked
I
in.
did say they're back. Yeah. Doesn't she say they're back at some point though?
John's answer is locked in. Somebody says they're back. Who says they're back? Somebody said that.
That was my first guess, but now I think it's they're here. Yeah. Was that a sequel or something? Yeah. Did they do it later?
She keeps bringing it back.
I can hear it in my head,
just like
though.
they do in movies.
I can.
Maybe it's just Will's performance. Maybe that's what did it for me.
Thank you.
Yeah. So one more, right? Yeah.
Final question of the night here.
Ha ha ha! John got willed, says Marcus.
Yeah. It's at least once per show.
Marcus got willed once before. Evil beings called Cenobites appear in which 80s film? They Live, The Gate, Night of the Comet,
They're
Hellraiser.
back.
Kat, we watched The Gate last Halloween as part of a Patreon thing too.
We did, and I have no idea about.
Oh, really? I've got this one. Now. So I'm not going to answer. You get to guess, Kat. You pick something.
All right.
I'm going to guess.
Let me ask you this first. Do you remember if that's what they're called in The Gate?
I don't remember if they're called that in The Gate, but I'll say, why not The Gate? Let's just go with The Gate because I watched it.
Okay. Hellraiser. Yeah, Hellraiser.
Oh.
You'll suffer
Is that the one where people have all sorts of pokey things on their heads?
Well, at least one guy does, yes.
One guy?
One guy
has pokey
Pinhead
things.
Does, yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
I see your bread.
They've got a new film, a new Hellraiser film, like a reboot of it. I tried watching it. I couldn't. I love
the lady Pinhead.
Yeah,
Pinheadette.
Well, it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's played by a woman. It's supposed to be like an androgynous character.
Oh,
But and the winner is nobody. So there you go. Because the technology.
We're all winners because we had a good time.
Yes, everybody applaud yourselves.
Yeah, come on, Spin Doctor.
This is for everyone. Everyone gather around close. Get close. Ready? So everyone get it. There you go. That's for everybody. Okay, so no, really. So we took the names of everybody that participated during the game in the comments, and we stuck them in our magical randomizer. And here we go. Let's let it do its job here. And the winner is Trisha, I want to say Gebauer. Congratulations, Trisha. We'll reach out to you on Facebook to get your information.
Congratulations.
It'll be a participation prize because we don't know if you actually got any of the questions right.
All right, look, hey, I made it with my whole costume in for the entire show.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Are you sweltering?
No, I'm just a little bit.
You know, I tip my fedora to you. Well done.
Yes. It'd be great if John picks up his hat and just all this perspiration just rushes down.
Listen, I'm the guy who would walk around a Star Trek convention all day in full Klingon get up. So Indiana Jones don't even make me break a sweat.
Yeah. And if you'd like to see our costume get-ups, you can check us out on our YouTube channel where we'll have clips of this show on there. All right, and that was the show.
Yes, it was.
That's your cue we worked out.
Oops. Okay, so that was our show, and our show is brought to you every week, thanks in part to our early adopters like Kathy Burke.
Yep.
I'm so sorry. Kathy Burke, Rick Parker, and Karen Flieger.
Yes.
And thanks especially to our Secret of Our Success Level Patreon supporters, John Henderson, Craig Coletta, John Kaminsky, Marcus Taylor, who's here tonight, and Tony Great.
Way to go. Nice, Tony. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, if you want to join us next time on one of these Facebook Lives, it's probably going to work next time. Statistically speaking, it usually does. Follow us.
It won't be haunted Halloween trivia.
That's right. This was kind of perfect in that way. We may have to add some spooky sound effects or something in the background.
It was cursed. The boogeyman cursed it. Of course.
Scott Bakula, that asshole.
He did it. Yeah.
All right. Because he's not on the new show. He's got to screw it up for everybody else.
The boogeyman.
Hey, we will talk to you again next time on 1980s Now.
Until next time.
Bye-bye, everybody.
This podcast is part of the 80s Ruled Network. Visit the 80s Ruled on Facebook for more 1980s awesomeness.